What'd you think of that letter from Donna? That letter from Donna?
I've heard only the good die young.
No.
Yes, I did.
That is.
People are watching. They're seeing
Signature there when you
you,
get a chance.
abusing you.
Can you remember when you were?
Well, thank you. I can sort of remember. Thank you, Deb. Appreciate it.
I wish it was for like happy reasons.
Yeah, well.
Excuse me?
Infants.
Well, I wouldn't have asked if it was for that.
But those are the things you should
Who?
ask.
I know.
God, this.
Yeah, he's a big boy, ain't he?
Big boy.
He's big. He's getting bigger. Okay, John.
One in the audience is ticked at me.
Who?
Works for the Village Wild Rose.
Oh my gosh, Bill Downey is here. Yes. Really? I gotta get him a packet.
What was underneath my desk? Oh, this one, yeah.
Dispatcher said, we can't get there.
That yellow one.
They didn't,
Oh, didn't say.
Ask. What'd they tell you?
Missing the
That's
bowl.
fine
Huh?
with me.
got in the mail from Donna.
Isn't that in the radio program?
Excuse me. God.
I got calls that said that 911, they called the sheriff.
But she, on this one here, she shaved $100,000 since last week ago. Hey, John.
Yeah, this one does, but it's not.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
We'll call this meeting of the Waushara County Board of Supervisors to order. This is an extension of our last Tuesday night meeting over in Aurora. We'll start with the silent prayer and then the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have roll call.
Mrs. Krentz is excused. Mr. Tim?
Here.
Mr. Piaski?
Here.
Mr. Weddy?
Here.
Mr. Downey?
Here.
Mr. Eckstein?
Here.
Mrs. Collada?
Here.
Mr. Weiss?
Here.
Mr. Gellerup?
Here.
Mr. Crawford?
Here.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
And we have the agenda, which was the extension of the other one, but you need a motion to approve it.
I so move.
Dennis Weddy,
I'll second.
Donna Colada. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's been approved. Old business, or it's discussion and possible action items. First one is allowing the absorption of retirement changes into the 2012 budget requests.
I guess just for clarification purposes, Mr. Piaski had asked that this be on the agenda. I guess, Joe, could you explain a little bit about what your concern was so we know exactly what we're addressing?
Didn't we handle that the last meeting? Pretty much?
I don't know if we ever got an answer on the retirement part of it.
I think that was when I made the motion to table it. But we discussed it all, and I thought we settled all of that, about taking the money for the retirement to different departments. Thought we decided on that.
It was discussed, but it was tabled.
I don't think there was any motion on it. Okay, so basically, your question was whether the individual departments were able to use any of the retirement savings as they balance their 2012 budget. So I don't know if you brought this form along from last meeting. So basically what happens, if you have the form with you, it would show you what the retirement savings was, because the employees in many of our departments will be paying their share of the retirement. And so in some of the departments, the employees have, or the department has accessed some of that money to come in at a zero budget. And it put about $245,573 that have not been absorbed, and that money would be put into a contingency fund to help fund 2013 changes, if that's acceptable to all of you.
I think we talked about, at one time, about taking that excess to use it in case there's a increased insurance or something that puts some other departments other years in a bind. And if that's what the contingency fund would be used for, I think that's the right thing to do,
Okay.
rather than just throwing it in general or throwing it into another department, because I think that it jeopardized, like I think it was land conservation last year, the $258,000, which is a small department. So I think that's what we need to watch out for.
Okay. So could someone put that in a motion, that $245,573 that has not been attached to any budget for 2012 can be put into a contingency fund in 2012 to be used for future needs?
This would not affect anything that we're going to look at for the next item on the agenda, would it?
No, it will not.
Then I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to use that money that is from retirement changes in the 2012 budget as a contingency fund. Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's been approved. Our next one is our 2012 sheriff's budget request, and the reason for that is the housing of the state prisoners, you know, would be gone as of first of the year. A lot of them are gone already. And we have some plans worked up. And Deborah, you going to explain that, or?
I can. Each of you would have gotten this summary sheet. Basically, at the last meeting, we gave you some different scenarios. One is a zero scenario. This scenario that has been revised and is in front of you tonight is the one that retains the 2 patrol officers and the detective position that will have openings. So this is the one that retains those positions. So the option would include taking $231,424 and applying it to the EMS budget, which is outside of the zero levy limit. And then we would put $167,432 against our general levy, and that is subject to the zero levy limit. But Donna did some more digging, and she, with the new construction, I think it's $68,000, and we also have $62,000 that the Department of Revenue said we can access. So, you know, we have that much of this covered without affecting anything, and I think, you know, we can figure out the other $30,000. We'll figure that out. So this is the option that addresses some of the safety concerns that were expressed to you at the last meeting. It doesn't interfere or jeopardize funding for any other departments. It is something that we can do for 2012. And if you have, you know, things that you want to work on for the next year, I know George Peterman's here, Sheriff Peterson is here. If you have questions, Lieutenant Thurley, Lieutenant Nett are here. If you have specific questions, they're here to answer those questions. But, you know, we worked it and worked it and worked it, and quite honestly, if you want to be able to retain those positions and address those public safety needs, this is the best option that we're going to come up with.
We're going to need a motion to that effect to put it on the floor.
I would so move.
Motion, okay, we got a second by Everett. Now the discussion on it.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, may I speak? Does this 167,432 include the detective and the two sworn officers that have not, that we put on hold lately or whatever, have been hired?
It does include the funding for those positions.
Does include that funding.
Yes.
So that's one concern of public protection that's out of the way. One other question I have, one of my constituents asked today concerning the Water Patrol. It's my understanding this does not contain would not include the Water Patrol, am I correct?
We have not put the funding for the Water Patrol back into this budget. I guess that would be a decision that the Public Safety Committee will have to address if they feel that they can still provide that
Now,
service.
it's also my understanding that some of the lakes in our county, Pleasant Lake, for example, have a special deputy that their township supports to take care of their water patrol. Is that correct?
Sheriff Peterson, would you be able to answer that question? I do not know that.
They've hired a sworn officer, or maybe two sworn officers, that take care of that more than probably the town chairman for Coleman might know more about it than I. We don't have anything to do with that.
We, many years ago, hired two of the officers from Washera County. In their off time, they go out and patrol the lake.
Okay, in other words, it's on a hit-and-miss basis that nobody knows when they're going to be there and so on.
That is correct. and
That's what's happening right now with the water patrol that we do now have, am I correct? It's a hit-and-miss basis, Sheriff Peterson? There's no set schedule?
Right, we put somebody out on water patrol when they have somebody available to work water patrol without paying any overtime generally. I believe this last year, we did put somebody out on one of the days on 4th of July weekend when the water's the busiest. And we get generally about 65% reimbursement on wages, 100% reimbursement on fuel and repairs, and the boat that we purchased originally from the town of Springwater, we get reimbursed for the cost of that boat on an appreciation basis, and I think we have one more year before we will have all of that money back from the original purchase fund.
The reimbursement comes from the DNR?
Excuse me?
Does the reimbursement come from the DNR?
That's correct.
Okay, and you have how many lakes in the county that you're covering now, or this last summer anyway? Guess. I mean, you don't need the exact number. I don't need, but a round number.
Probably there is 7 or 8 that they're the busiest that we try to get on frequently. There's probably another 10 or 12 that we try to at least get on as need be. For instance, Long Lake up by north of Saxville is quite a ways from here, and so we only had a couple hours that we could spend. We probably wouldn't pull the boat out into Long Lake and do that, but we might take advantage of going up Mount Morris or Johns or Porter's and do the lakes that are closer on that particular date.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Yes, Joe?
I guess in the sheet that was handed out tonight, can somebody explain the increase in the emergency government portion of $24,000?
Yes, it is the only thing that's in there. It switched some money from the sheriff's department to emergency management that dealt with radios and maintenance and things like that. Was probably where it should have been all along. So it decreased sheriff by that much and increased emergency management by the same amount. So emergency management really hasn't increased. It's just an accounting change.
Any other discussion?
I guess I have a question about one other issue similar to the one that Dennis brought up, and that has to do with this patrol that is provided on snowmobile trails. And I don't know if that is in this. It's not. It was just like the other. It'll have to be covered by the committee, and they'll have to decide some way of finding funding.
Yes, we did not put the funding in for that. I guess that will be up to the Public Safety Committee whether they want to pursue that or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Joe?
Will this fix the problem, or is this just a Band-Aid?
This should fix the problem. We won't have a big withdrawal of money from surplus. This should fix the problem. This is the best scenario we can come up with, saying we lost all that money from state prisoners.
They aren't going to come back next year with the same problem.
Unless they change something in Madison we're not aware of, it should not. There's cars allowed in here. We did not scale it down so that he doesn't get anything. He's got 3 cars plus what the other cars he has. So everything is taken care of in here.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The other issue, it would seem to me, would be that next year there will be no funding that resulted from employees paying their share of retirement and whatever insurance changes there were. That will not be in effect next year, right? So if everything worked out the same way next year as it did this year, there will be some shortfall, will there not? I mean, I don't see how you could avoid that.
Well, see, some of this money here was put in the contingency fund instead of putting used against the budget. So that's why it shouldn't have hurt us as bad as it would otherwise.
Okay, and the year following, will there be?
We have absorbed, out of the over 600,000, we have absorbed 367,534, leaving 245,573. So there will be issues. I mean, I can't say that, that everything's going to be wonderful, because all it takes is an increase in health insurance, and that throws us off our game a little bit. So, I can't promise that they're not going to have to be some adjustments somewhere down in the future.
And on the other hand, if things change financially across the state, maybe zero budget will not be in effect in some time. Is that a possibility, or will we always be working at that?
It's always a possibility.
Well, let us hope.
Depends who's at the state.
Everett, you had a question?
I was wondering whether it would be legal for Dave to, I know there's some of the lakes, and I have 9 lakes in my township. Some of the lakes really appreciate that boat patrol, and I wondered if it would be legal for him to contact these lakes and their associations and see if they would be willing to donate towards the lake protection as such. Because like I said, it's something that they might be, because I'm on what used to be Ag and Extension, I'm also on 3 lake associations, and I'm privy to the amount of money they do have, and it wouldn't take that much out of their budget, I don't think, to provide this service. But I don't know whether it'd be okay for him to send letters out at all or not.
That can be brought up at the public safety meeting, be discussed there, and then the sheriff can give his thoughts, and you can bring in your thoughts from your Lakes Association then too.
I think he.
Dave?
One thing that it will impact is we looked in with the people from DNR that audit our requests, our time and all that, and our requests. We would have to claim that as income into the program, so it would have a negative impact, I guess, on our reimbursement. That's one thing, and I guess from a moral standpoint, or not wanting to put an officer in a jeopardize of reputation or whatever, and have to be beholden to one lake association over the other because they donated more money, which you are very familiar with. If we could do something like that and have it go into maybe set up some sort of a charitable fund where there is absolutely no strings attached to it, because right now on the citations that our officers write, traffic citations that we write, our department gets zero of that money. And I think that's a good plan, because I don't think that it's in your best interest to have the officer or the department's pockets lined from a ticket that you may or may not get, because it might make a difference on whether or not you get one. And so I think that puts the officer and the county department at like, but if there was a way to do it without impacting our reimbursements in ours, I'd like to do everything I can from that. And if there was a way to do away with having any way of any strings to be attached to, you need to be on my lake because I gave $100 more than the other lake, or something like that.
May I ask Joe a question?
Go ahead.
Joe, what about the watershed?
That's done.
What?
Watershed is totally done. There's no watershed anymore.
The association?
Oh, you mean the Lakes Council?
The Lakes Council? Well, no, I was wondering whether they could be approached as such.
Probably could, but I don't know if they don't have the money to fund anything.
We did accept underwater cameras from, it wasn't from a lake, it was from a private party on a lake who worked in some place that sold and manufactured those things. And it's just, it's a bad place for a police officer to be in, where you are expected to, you owe something because somebody contributed to you financially.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what
Maybe
we
we
might
could
go.
do it through the town association, I'm just thinking out loud, and then there would be, the town association would be the buffer between
Right,
the two.
thank you.
Okay, is there any more discussion? If not, we should take a vote on this for the 2012 budget, where 167,432 is, needs to be covered, and like Deb explained, I guess all except around 30,000 will be covered. So that's the best scenario we can come up with. Everybody ready? All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's been approved. We need a motion to adjourn.
May I say something first?
Sure.
I just want to thank the principals, the ones that have been involved in this, because we as supervisors can't be all over, and we don't know, maybe the rest of you do, but as far as all the details and that about this, and I know how hard you worked, and I really appreciate all that you've done, especially in the last week. I wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Second? Second by Fred. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned. Take it to our final budget. Now, we want to have a meeting then too, the way the new schedule came out for executive. There's only one day now.
Well, I've got two Lake Association meetings tomorrow morning.
What did you send? I have a different email
I'll
address.
stick a plug in their ear.
Put it on, and you know, I'm wondering, I'm
Write
gonna
this one
ask
down.
you,
Everything that I want.
vote out on Bean Lake.
Yeah.
The problem with Bean Lake is,
That's why I asked the question. I didn't bring my,
200 feet from the end of the public landing till you first come to the water.
What about Pleasant? They swear to God, that's going to be it in 2 years. Yeah, we're draining them all. Those farmers, you know, you can't.
she had, I think it was it
Oh, yeah, those
9:45 or
wells.
something was the
You
last.
just can't do that.
Gmail.com.
Otherwise, the department would come in and do it.